this point probably applies to so many of the domains. I think AI, what we're finding out too is that because, and again, I think the word context could be applied in a lot of different ways. So the word context I have is it can keep multiple things in its head, quote, so to speak. Okay. So that the idea is like we are, we can maybe keep 3 different thoughts or 4 different thoughts independently. What we can't keep is an entire product architecture in our head. Okay. And the example, I think it was the CEO of Vercel, who's like, as you're laying down a block, as you're laying down the bricks for the cathedral, can you imagine the entire cathedral that's being built as you're laying down a single block? AI has that capability, right? And the more compute we're going to see, it has a capability. We humans, we're great at a lot of things. We're not great at we have these words of saying, keep the bigger picture. Don't lose the forest for the trees, right? Don't, keep an idea of this. What is this broader thing? And I think especially in product where you're trying to manage for multiple use cases and multiple deliverables, I think this is where, again, I feel like you're right. AI could be this both a bridge and a translation layer. That's a very, very interesting. And if used well, it could actually help elevate the entire team in a more meaningful way.
Yeah, and it can reduce the amount of friction and the need to create always, burdensome, cumbersome, processes in the organization. Like, I'll give you another example. We had a QBR in Boston last week, and there was like a coalition of few salespeople who were brave enough to bring up a feedback that, we use Slack too much as a company. And with all the directness and transparency that Slack is bringing to the table, they, can sometimes miss things through the noise because there is a lot of text and they're like missing the great stuff. So they started, proposing processes. Every Tuesday, you write an email that does blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there and I told the guys, like, connect Claude to Slack, ask him to do this email if this is what's helping you. And let's move forward with our lives. And I think this is kind of the cool thing about it. Like, you don't need to force an organization to, like, you can decide like what good looks for you. Let's say I like email. Like, I keep my email inbox clean. And whenever I know it's clean, like I'm done. It's never completely clean, but like this is my incentive during the day. I get my dopamine cleaning the inbox. And like, if this is like my internal operating system, I can build, a workflow in 2 minutes that goes over Slack, and every few hours kind of brings the most important points as like an email sent to me so I can interact with that. And I don't have to force anyone in the organization to work in the same way. So again, like you have like something like Slack, which is like the raw data. Nobody's forcing anything. And again, we can even take it to like the cybersecurity, like even Vega analogy of like raw data, no specific schema, nothing like this. And then you have the agent's capability of like analyzing it and bringing it to what makes sense for you as a detection engineer or as a Shai, the CEO, who needs it like in his email inbox to get this dopamine level high. And I think this is kind of cool because everyone can create his own interface and to bridge between those interfaces very easily.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the point you're also bringing up here is the future is the humans are not, we're talking about Salesforce earlier and Slack and, the humans are not they're not the first use case. They're not the first users anymore, right? There is some kind of agentic layer between logging on, because like, why do I need to log on to Salesforce? I need to get for me, it's like, I need my dashboard. I need to look at my customer activities. I need to look at these 3 things. But if I have my agent review all that, do all that, and give me what I need to do next and the next steps, it changes the whole idea of just how humans actually interact with some of these tools. And that to me, again, it's kind of another fascinating shift where every employee is truly getting what they need out versus we're getting everybody the same exact thing.
It can even get creepier a little bit if you think about, philosophically speaking, about even language. Because I think about most people probably don't really write their own emails. They're just, write it with broken English. Write him, I want this by this. And like, AI is kind of translating it to the intermediate language that, other person will read. But the funny thing is probably another person won't read it, but an agent will read it for him and summarize whatever he needs to learn from that. So like the English that the agent generates is just among themselves, and everyone receives the version of English or whatever language they can expect. So effectively, you're kind of losing the human to human kind of interaction. If we think from a philosophical standpoint, who knows where it's going to bring us as a civilization, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely, yes. And I have found in my own use, I have found that, and maybe again, some people are verbal, we all have different things that, I'm verbal. Speaking was our first human interface was we language, right? 2 years old, 18 months, we want to talk. I find that I am so much better at writing prompts and, prompt engineering, context engineering, when I can just go on a walk and talk for 20, 30 minutes. Okay, the outcome that I get from those kinds of conversations are so much better than even typing. But now some people are good with really typing long prompts. I find that speaking is way easier of an interface, less cognitive load speaking than the typing, because now you're translating whatever in your mind to, versus just describing it and all that. It's just, and again, I know mileage may vary. That one I feel like probably depends on the individual.
Couldn't agree more. I'm doing the same thing. I'm walking my dog in the morning early, like in Central Park, and my favorite activity is to just speak whatever I have in my mind, whatever I kind of woke up with in my head, and kind of brainstorm, and then it can at least extract my ideas, or maybe even suggest some action plans, or sometimes I just write a blog about it or something like this. Just this level of extra processing is sometimes that oftentimes you don't have the time to do. I think it's empowering.
It is, and for a while I was calling it like I'm having an AI a stand up with my AI agent in the morning, just kind of here's all the things, and just again, and sometimes maybe just you sometimes just need to get that out, you know what I mean, out of sitting in your mind and just speaking it.